Hello and welcome back to another edition of Candid with Christa over here on the Non-Midlife Crisis. If you are just showing up for the first time, thank you so much for being here. If you're returning, again, thank you for being here. I am extremely excited to dive right into this conversation with my dear friend Danette. And just a tiny bit of background, which I'm sure we'll get more into. Danette, I started stalking Danette. Yes, stalking. I'm calling it stalking. Back in, oh my gosh, when was this? Danette, help me. When were you doing Mad Organica?
I want to say, oosh, maybe 20 years ago. Wait, maybe shy of 20 years ago. And when I started it, yeah.
Okay. All of that to say, I found Danette's blog and I was immediately just sucked in to her writing style, how she shared, and I just automatically just felt like I knew her. And then cut to a vegan meetup. We just happened to be both there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Mad Organica!" Yes, I don't think you're Danette. Well, I don't think you used your name on the right. And
Yeah.
so it was like I was fangirled out and we spoke that night. And I think we exchanged information. And then from there, we just started to form a friendship. When I started doing these candids on IG live in 2020, I asked Danette to come on as a guest, and she did. And so when I decided I was going to resurrect them for this channel, I said, Danette, I need you to come back specifically because I want to talk about the stories we tell in midlife. I'm coining it that, and you'll understand in a few minutes why I'm saying that in terms of Danette and her incredible gift of writing. Let's dive right in. When you think of midlife, what comes to mind when you think about midlife, or specifically when you hear somebody say midlife crisis? What things come up for you?
You know what's funny? I think of midlife crisis and I think of men. I think of other people. I always feel like it's outside of myself because
Mhm.
I just forget how old I am sometimes, right? Like I'm like midlife and midlife crisis, that's not me. I don't feel the crisis part. I mean, I feel always pressed to do what I want to do, but
Mhm.
not because I mean, sometimes because time is ticking away, but not like solely because of that. Just
Mhm.
because I want to do things or I want to live a certain way. And it's
Mhm.
taken me a long time to get to how I'm living now to what I'm striving for soon. So, I don't I feel outside of all that kind of rhetoric, I guess.
One of the reasons specifically why I wanted to have you on is because one of the things that drew me to you back even when you were doing the blog, and as I've just watched you over the years, is that you are always doing something new. You're always living your life in bold ways and trying new things. I've seen you do so many amazing things, and it's really inspiring. I really want to highlight that because I do think that as we get older, it's easy for people to think that maybe I shouldn't try this thing. They are too focused on how old they are, and they're like, well, how would it look if I did this different thing? And I just love that every time I see you, there's a gift of yours that you are cultivating and sharing. And so, has that always been the way that you are? Do you think that that has increased over time? Do you think that's just always been inherently a part of you?
I think it's mainly about I identify as certain things. One is an athlete and one is an artist. But
Mhm.
under those things, it's a wide umbrella, right?
Mhm.
So under athlete, I can try whatever I want, right? Because I feel inherently athletic.
Mhm.
So I can try different sports. I can try different types of workouts. I want to find things that bring me joy, that bring me community, that bring fun to my life, that improve my quality of life going forward, but it's all
Mhm.
sort of under this umbrella of being an athlete, and I feel the same way about being an artist, and being a writer falls under that category, right? So I'm always thinking about how can I express this the best? The
Mhm.
things that are churning around in my mind, how can I get it out the best that's true to me, but also might resonate with somebody else, right?
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
last project was the novel, and I did ceramics for a long time, and I love that, but now I'm, like, more into this textile art stuff and see if I can get the ideas that are in here out in that way, in a new, interesting way. For me, I don't think there's anything really new under the sun, so it's just for me and how uniquely I can express it through my voice. I don't think of it in terms of, "Oh, what new thing can I try?" I think, "Ooh, how can I best express my athletic self? How can I best express my artistic self?
Mhm.
What is fun? What is resonating with me?" And then it just kinda goes along with that. People were up in arms when I didn't do ceramics anymore. I had some
Really?
oh,
How
man.
so?
Oh, they were like, "Oh, you're so talented at ceramics. Why did you give that? I was looking forward." I love ceramics, but I'll tell you what, ceramics is a heartbreaking art form. At any point, something could go wrong, right? At
Mhm.
any stage of ceramics, it can break, it can explode in the kiln, it can not
Mm.
the glaze cannot do its chemical reaction the way you wanted. You put it
Mhm.
in, other people's hands to put in the kiln and it gets broken, and you
Mm.
use it and you love it and you break it while washing it. Like, it was a lot, and it's very expensive to do. I think
Mhm.
every art form is expensive in its own right. It was a lot. The new textile thing is not cheap either, but ceramics was especially expensive, especially when a lot of times your stuff would it was temporary, right? And so, even
Yeah.
on that journey, I was like, "Alright, I'm gonna treat ceramics as temporary.
Mhm.
That piece of art can go at any time." And you're
Right.
okay with that for a while, and then I was like, "Alright, I wanna express myself in
Mhm.
less anxious ways."
Right. Listen, that makes sense. And I never would have thought about ceramics in that way.
Mm,
And then also, it's very interesting that you say that people had a hard time with you moving on because of
mm,
something that started from you, right? And
yeah,
so I feel like that's also an interesting concept too, because I feel like as we I'll say this. Some of the conversations I've had so far, and then
mm,
just talking to other women that are in this stage of life, they've come to this turning point where they are living more for themselves than they
mhm,
ever have
mhm,
previously. And they've learned to erect certain boundaries that, for whatever reason, they weren't comfortable doing before. And they've come to this point now, and they're like, no, now is the time. And so, hearing you say, that people are like, well, why aren't you doing ceramics? You should do it. Kind of just reminds me of that, like the what people expect from us, and then being able to say, okay, well, that was something that I did and that I
mhm.
enjoyed, but I'm moving on, move through other people's expectations, think about boundaries and things like that. Where do you sit with that now in life?
I've always sort of bucked against expectations, I think. When I was a younger athlete, like, I was a lot of times in male spaces, and it's just, like, a particular type of grind and mindset that you kinda have to hold to be in those spaces.
Hmm.
So, for example, I was a pickup basketball player for a long time, played in a lot of parks,
Hmm.
mainly men, especially back then,
Hmm.
and, you sure yourself against all the comments you're gonna hear. You're gonna hear the same stupid comments. You're gonna hear the same stupid pickup lines. You're gonna hear the same stupid shit that men like to whatever, can't help
Hmm.
them I don't know, whatever. And
Hmm.
then But basketball was a therapy for me. It was an outlet for me. It was something that I so wanted for myself that I had to share myself against those things.
Mhm,
So, in that sense, I was bucking against that
mhm,
constantly, like, I feel like trudging upstream against being underestimated.
mhm,
When I was in corporate world for 18 years or whatever, it was a back east boys club. It's the same thing. It's like this constant trudging upstream.
mhm,
So, building these boundaries around yourself, especially in the context of sort of this aggressive male, they don't believe in you. They wanna say a bunch of shit to you. "Oh, you better shake that off. Oh, you gotta laugh it off." I was always talking back to men especially. I like to put up with that kinda stuff. I've always been that type of person. However, as an older person, if they don't mean anything to me, I don't say shit,
interesting.
right?
Really
Unless
okay.
they're offending someone else, unless they're saying something to somebody else that feels hurt or oppressed by it or whatever it is, I'll be
Mhm,
like, That's not worth my time." So it's kind of switched, right? Like, how do I hold my own inner peace? How do I save my own peace? These
mhm,
people I think in terms of people are stuck in systems, their
mhm,
own internal systems, the systems that are placed on us our entire lives, and I
mhm,
and I really evaluate whether it's worth it or not. So it's like
mm,
I put a boundary on myself to protect inner peace,
mhm.
or sometimes I have to.
So the boundary is more on you and what energy you're going to expend to someone else's ignorance. And it's
Mhm.
weighing that and being intentional within yourself and your own boundary to say, okay, this is worth my
Right.
time and effort, and this is not. But then when it comes to defending other people, then that's where it shifts a little bit for you.
I think there is a responsibility to other people if you see how they react, but it just really depends on the situation. But most of
Mhm.
the time, I protect I mind my business and I protect my peace.
Yeah, I feel like that's another running theme with a lot of women, especially in this stage of life where it's just like, you know what, and my peace and what feels good to me is paramount, which I think is great. I love that women are taking up space, and not even just women in midlife, just in general. I'm seeing a lot more women really making that space for themselves sooner.
I do think the younger generation, I see that more, you know?
Hmm.
I see
Hmm.
my daughters, like, I'm like, "Okay, you guys have this." I'm encouraged by the things I'm seeing in a younger generation. Mhm.
So let's switch gears a little bit and get into your book, your
Mm,
novel.
mhm,
When you told me that you had written a novel and asked me if I would read it, when I tell you, first of all, such a distinct honor for someone to share essentially what I think their baby with you. Wow. All I can say is I think it took me no time to read it,
mm,
first of all,
mhm,
because I could not put it down. Said I was drawn to you and felt like I knew you back then through your blog, through your writing. So to see now that you had created this, I just want to know how we got there.
mm.
How did you get to the point where you were like, okay, I'm going to do this, and why?
I've always been drawn to writing, like, that's I say of all the artistic expressions that I've experienced, it's the hardest one for me because
Hmm.
it takes 100% focus.
Hmm.
Um, it takes me going down almost into a trance to be able to I'm so fascinated about the construction of words together, of sentences together, of paragraphs together to make something creative and beautiful and have meaning and have connection to the reader, whether their experience is different or not. Like, I am fascinated by that alchemy of it, right? And so, I've always been drawn to writing. When the girls were little, I wrote, but it was very difficult to I would write short stories, I would write the blog, I would get it out because I just couldn't help it.
Hmm.
And so then a few years ago, I had an idea for this story, and it started with the name of the the protagonist, who her name is Cada Dia, which in Spanish means every day, and that's her nickname, right? Cada Dia. So I love this idea of a nickname of somebody who meant every day, because I was very drawn to this concept of women being, it's called Saint Cada Dia, the novel, and the
Mhm.
idea of that these everyday saints, these everyday women who exist, but in this inherent divinity, like that I love that theme and concept. But the way she gets that my protagonist gets the nickname is that her father is mad at her every day, right?
Mm.
Every day is
Mhm.
something with you. Every day, cada día, there's something with you. So I just love this like juxtaposition of this divinity versus you're getting on my damn nerves every day. So
Yes, yes,
so, the novel really started with the name. At first it was kinda lighthearted and funny, and then I just started putting my own, like, y not necessarily exact experiences, but, my feelings and evolution from my experiences into the character, right?
yes.
What there's that adage that fiction is, the truth told through lies, right? So that's it's like
Mm.
you not lies, but, fiction tells the truth, right? So, then it started getting deeper and deeper, and then I was exploring relationships between family and through, a female best friend, right? Like, women's relationships and then her relationship with her daughters, and which I knew very well, right? So, and then but I really wanted to, highlight it has a religious theme through it, a spiritual theme while it's still bucking the church, and then this idea of, like, these women becoming, that they're divine through the whole thing as well, right?
Mhm.
And that they're the saints through the whole novel. That's how it started,
Mhm.
and now we're here.
That's how it started, now we're here. There's got to be a little bit more in between that because I do know that you were accepted into.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, so well, I will say the actual, physical task of writing, a
Mhm.
friend of mine reached out to me who I'd known forever. We had been in a writing workshop 25 years ago. And,
Mhm.
November is there's some program that you can write every day. It's kind of famous, I forget the name of it, but you can go online and you write every day. It's just to keep you writing. He's like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I wanna do this thing in November, but I don't wanna do the online thing. How about we write every day and we just text each other every day?" And I
Mhm.
was like, "Okay, cool." And so my criteria was 20 minutes, sit down for 20 minutes and do the best you can. So it ended up being 20 minutes to an hour.
Mhm.
Afterwards, we would just say, "Done, did it, da da da." I never talked about what I was writing about. Every once in a while, he would go off about his novel, and it would be really hilarious because he's funny. He
Mhm.
would just text me and be like, "Done. My main character punched so and so in the face," like, period, and then
Yeah.
send it. So it was, like, funny, right? And we never really talked about the stories at all.
Yeah.
In November turned into almost a year. We did
Mhm.
this every day for almost a year, and at the end of it, we both had novels.
That
Now
is so.
now I ended up editing because to me, my Virgo heart is, there's so much in editing, right? So I spent a lot of time editing it along the
Mhm.
way and cleaning it up along the way, and his
Mhm.
was like a beautiful mess. And he has a much different life than I. He's still in corporate world, he has twin sons. After
Mm.
we did this monumental thing, he's like, "I cannot do one more thing towards this novel." He's like, "I have to
Mhm.
get back to my regular life." I was
Wow.
like, "Well, you've been wonderful in this journey, but I'm gonna keep going." Fine-tuning it, and then you're talking about the community of writers, which is, like, just celebrated their 50-year anniversary. They're up in, the Tahoe area, Lake Tahoe area, and they have this super prestigious panel of writers and poets and editors and publishers, and they put on a writing summer workshop every year, and
Mhm.
I submitted a chapter to get accepted, and I got accepted.
Mhm.
I mean, with hundreds, you know of submissions, so I was super honored to be there. And so, like, people like Amy Tan are there every year, and Diana Johnson is there, who's the head of literature at USC, and so it's
Amazing.
like you hear these panels and you get your work workshopped there, and
Mhm,
you get feedback. Diana
mhm,
Johnson happened to facilitate my group, and she gave me unbelievable feedback and encouragement, mainly encouragement. I was ready to get, like, roasted, but, I just
mhm.
got amazing feedback, and so I was kinda high coming out of that, and then you're like, "Oh, well, now what?" It's a little bit in that stage. I've sent it out to a couple agents because apparently you're supposed to go through agent world first,
Mhm.
and, I met with one publisher who was very, very small, Latino-owned publisher. I was kind of excited about it, but she's very, very, very small, so I wasn't sure. So,
Mhm.
we're at that stage.
This is it's very exciting, and you're so very humble because just the way in which you describe it. Like I said, it completely blown away. And
Mm,
honestly, and I told you, and it has nothing to do with me knowing you and loving you as a person,
mm,
is a beautiful, beautiful piece of work.
thanks.
And I'm very excited. And I know I told you as such, but I'm saying it on a public platform, just how wonderfully moved I am. And I also am wondering, when you decided to do, you had the idea, and then there was a challenge about writing every day, and you decided. So did you know, though, at that point when you were started writing and you had your accountability buddy,
Mhm.
that this was going to be the result? Was that your goal, or did you just let things just happen without any, like, solid idea about what the end was going to be?
I mean, I had certain things that I certainly wanted to talk about, right? Like, so, you know, I wanted to talk about Puerto Rico. I wanted to talk about the about Southern California specifically. I wanted through lines of gentrification and colonization. I wanted big, heavy stuff to be in there, and
Hmm.
yet it still be a little bit funny
Hmm.
and have these very deep relationships. So at
Yes.
the time when I started, I wasn't sure, okay, how am I gonna what I wanted in my head was pretty ambitious.
Hmm.
And I was
Hmm.
like, "How am I gonna get there?" And I know my strength as a writer is to have these to get pretty vulnerable and to have these kind of very emotional scenes.
Hmm.
So I had to really knit those together and learn how to knit those together
Hmm.
and still be able to say what I wanted to say. I mean, it wasn't for the faint of heart. There was days I pulled my hair out, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, every creative goes through this process, right? They're, like, in the flow state, then they hate everything they just did, then
Hmm.
they're like, "Wow, oh my god, this was amazing. I'm crying in my own scenes." Then I'm like, "Wait, that was that shit?" I don't know, right? So, at some point, I needed to get feedback, which is, when I sent you a piece of a chapter first,
Yes.
and then when I felt I was done, then so you need to start getting feedback,
Yes.
um, and I chose different people in my life to get feedback. I got just words back when they read it, so I was like, "Okay, maybe I did it
You did.
on a lot of levels accomplished what I wanted to and still kept it emotional and still kept it real." Like, that was but it was a challenge, it was hard because I really wanted these political pieces to be in there too,
Hmm. Hmm.
and this whole religious piece that I put in. I mean, it's like it
Yes.
was a lot. It
Yes.
was a lot of themes in there.
Yes. But listen, you goal accomplished.
Mm,
Goal absolutely accomplished,
thank you.
because everything that you said that you set out to do, you did.
Thank you.
I all of those pieces in
Thank you.
reading the
Thank
novel. I absolutely did. I laughed, I cried, it made me think, it
mm,
reflects, all of those pieces. And I just think it's really a wonderful testament to just allowing yourself to be open enough to
mm,
just do it, to just make a move, to just say, okay, I'm going to write and I'm going to do this every
Yeah.
single day. Because I think that's the thing, it's very easy when we set out to do something to be so hyper focused on the end, you
Mm.
know, the end of it, right? Or what it's going to be, or instead of just showing up for the moment in the moment and then just allowing those to build, right? And I
Mm.
think that if more people would just allow themselves the space and the safety to know that it's just showing up for yourself.
Well, I will say, especially if anyone's trying to write something out there, right? A novel or whatever it is,
Mhm.
it's a scene at a time, right? For me, the chapters were very sort of their own entity. And then, the task later is to weave it and thread it and get it all together for sure and have this arc that goes from A to B, A to Z. You want an idea of where it's going, but you
Mhm.
gotta think about the scene that's right in front of you, because if you skip these opportunities of bearing your entire soul in the thing that's right in front of you,
Mhm.
the end means nothing. It's all
Yeah.
empty space for what? To for your little neat conclusion at the end, right?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
bearing it all in the moment
Mm.
and fleshing out things that are hard in the moment, on the page, on whatever, the chapter,
Mhm.
was key for me. But I
Yes.
think for real authentic art, that's what has to happen.
And I think that life just asks that of us anyway. I think it's such a beautiful metaphor for life, because that's always the ask,
That's what
is to be present in the moments that are before us and lay it all out there. And then it's just moment after moment after moment. So, what do you think you learned the most about yourself during this process?
a big theme in the book. The character is riddled with worry, right? That is it's debilitating almost for her in the beginning. She hides her worry and she tries to stuff it down. And so it was cathartic for me to write through this worry, because I was a very worried child. I was a very worried young adult. I was very always worried, right? And there's a whole chapter about the worry of death in this
Mhm.
book, right?
Mhm.
Um, and uh, that's something that was very real to me.
Yeah.
And it is like I try to flesh that out, but the book helped me through this, right?
Mhm.
Because what I wanted to show in the book that worry is a lie.
Yes,
Worry is an unreliable narrator, right?
absolutely.
And I wanted the character, to go through this discovery that it was not serving her. In writing that, because I needed to flesh it out for myself, it helped me tremendously let go of a lot of worry as well. And write a novel, holy shit, 300 pages is
As
hard.
listen, listen, we, that
Yeah,
is no joke. That
I
is
was
absolute joke. And for you to have said yes to that,
mm,
I think is, again, very beautiful. And another reason why I wanted to have you on and talk about this and talk about the process and talk about you saying yes to this is because it's never too late to do the
mm,
things that are calling you to do. I really just want to drive that point home so hard to people, especially to women, about that as long as there is breath in your body, there is still something that you have to give, to share, especially if you know that something is calling at you to do.
well,
And
I mean, I'm sorry, but women with decades of seasoning under our belts,
yes, yes,
our contribution
yes.
is unmatched. I'm sorry. Like, if you have 50, 60, 70 years of living and what it took to get there,
Yep.
I need that share. Right?
Yes.
The
Yeah.
world needs that share.
Yes.
And if the world is if there's a tiny shift where people are listening more to women, to Black women, to women of color, if there
Mhm.
to LGBTQ women, trans women. If there's a tiny shift, we need to hear those experiences. It
Yeah,
enriches our own experience. And
absolutely.
so too late, no such thing. I need those late entries.
Yeah. Yes.
I
Yeah.
I need to see that art. I need to see
Yeah.
that those words on the page. I need to see whatever it is you create, what the words that are coming out of your mouth. The world needs that.
Yes. Yes. Yes, Danette. 1,000%. I have chills. Yeah, absolutely. Now more than ever. So I was having this conversation with a girlfriend of mine. Again, with that, it's very easy, I think, to also have the attitude, even outside of the age piece, of just like looking at the world on fire and feeling like, okay, what
Mhm.
is the purpose? What is the purpose of me to share this gift or create this thing? And I have continually said that is the exact point, because we need that energy. We need that fuel right now as a part of collective resistance, as far as how I see it. And so continuing to show up and share and be and do in the midst of this is exactly what we need
Well,
now more
so
than.
there's a saying in Spanish that says, "Solo el pueblo salva al pueblo." Only the people save the people. And it's the
Mm,
same analogy of pouring your heart into the thing that's in front of you, because your community, knitted
mhm.
together with other caring and deep and loving communities,
Yes,
will conquer this bullshit, right?
yes,
This is
yes,
this is nothing, but when we're in our joy with our community, helping, speaking up, giving, mutual aid, all of these things, right?
yes,
With what's
yes.
in front of you.
Mhm.
It's like a crochet square. It'll crochet with all the other squares out there, and this fool will mean nothing. These wars, I mean, believe me, they will have impact. They have impact. They have violence on our souls right now.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
But we have to focus on who we
Mhm.
help in front of us, who we loving in front of us, who so I agree,
Yeah.
and we need those voices, and I will say I coach, personally train women, and they'll, especially 50 and older, will often say, "Well, my voice doesn't matter." I'm like, "I
Mhm.
don't know your experience. I have not lived through your experience,
Yep.
right? So
Yes.
what you've been through is not what I've been through, and just
Yeah.
because, um, so and so over here has been through harder things, it
Mhm.
does not diminish your experience. We
It
need all the experiences. And my own daughters, right?
mhm.
I need their voices too to guide me through. I'm not
Mhm.
the sole elder, like, leading the charge. I
Yes,
need their wisdom is built on our wisdom. So their
yeah,
wisdom is for us too, right?
yes,
So
absolutely.
it's all needed.
So glad that you answered the call to do that. And I cannot wait to see how it flourishes, and being able to see other people experience what I was able to experience through the art that you created and the words that you crafted so beautifully in that novel.
Thank you
Truly.
so much. Thank you so much.
I am curious to know, what piece of advice would you give to your 25-year-old self? What would you have told your 25-year-old Danette?
I think just to keep going, you know what I mean? Listen, I was caught up in the grind at 25. I was trying to, like, survive. I was trying to make money for family. And I don't know if I would tell myself not to do that, because not organically getting to the point where I don't wanna fucking grind no more, you know what I mean? Like, I think I had to get there organically, so, um, I just say keep going, because I can't, I really, even all the bad things I've been through, I don't know if I would change anything at all, because
Mm.
right now, I I feel, so solid in myself. I'd
Okay.
say, "You look good in them jeans." No, I don't know what I say.
That too. That too. And I think that's beautiful. keep going, I think is a wonderful sentiment.
Well,
And
I see Maya right now, and she's very much like me. You know, she's
mhm,
30 now, you know, with a baby. She's a
mhm,
social worker, which, oh, wow, man,
yeah,
tough, tough,
no,
tough, tough job, right? She's like,
yeah,
"Mommy, let me tell you about my cases," and I'm like,
right.
"All right, I got to hold for my baby right now." I'm like, "Okay, tell me." I'm like protecting myself. But
Yes.
she's on the grind. She's looking for this. She, you know, she wants another baby. She da 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 da. She's so fiery. She's so, and I look at her and I'm like, ah, she'll get there.
Yeah.
Because I don't. I'm like, even though the grind is not easy, it's not damaging her life. She's like she's in some flow right now, some kind of flow hustle right now that I
Mhm,
recognize and I appreciate. And
mhm.
she is such a great mommy. She's a good wife. She's just a great sister. She's unbelievable daughter. She's a great person. So I'm like, so she's grinding a little bit right now. She'll be all right. You know what
Right.
I
Yes, yes,
mean?
yes, and she will be,
She won't be.
especially having been blessed with such a wonderful mother
Mm,
as a North Star as well.
mhm,
That was another thing that really drew me to your blog was
mhm.
you sharing about your girls and the relationship that you have with them. It has always been so beautiful to see. So they will definitely be more than okay always.
They are. They're incredible, incredible people. I'm just proud to know them at this point, you know, but we're still very, very, very tight. We do some sort of communication daily, and, um, I'm just I'm just so happy to know them.
No, I think that's beautiful and wonderful.
Mm.
Okay, so any last piece of advice that you would give to anyone that is watching this, whether it be about creating art or using their voice, anything that you would like to button up this conversation to say?
I think I'm only gonna say this because 'cause I'm having this conversation a lot with my own clients, is that this the systems that are in place will constantly have you self-doubt yourself. This is a cog in the wheel of anything you wanna do, right?
Mhm.
So this will cover any, thing that you wanna do, and
Yeah.
that the negative talk to yourself is not helpful.
Mhm.
It is designed that way so that, right? Like,
Yeah.
one of my clients and I were talking about this skinny era that's kind of cyclically come back, right,
Mhm.
in our viewpoint. And
Mhm.
some political analyst was talking about how as soon as women start to lose their rights, they dangle in front of us this skinny era.
Mm.
Get distracted because we're like, "Oh, Demi Moore, and, oh, should I be? Oh, maybe I should," and it's such bullshit,
Mm.
and it's
Yes.
infuriating to me
Yes.
that these distractions, these systems that are told are important for us are not
Mhm.
important. They're not important.
Yes. Yes.
So it's a cog in our creative, not just our creative flow, but our literal divinity
Mhm.
is blocked because w- okay, whatever the whole systems are trying to do to us, but that we perpetuate it within ourselves, right?
Sure. Yes.
We
Yes.
think gene size matters. We think, "Oh, I'm not good enough." Listen, it takes a lot to get those things out, but at some
Mhm.
point, it is not helpful for just do the thing, right? Just be
Mhm.
yourself. What I always tell my daughters, "This feeling right in there
Yes. Yes.
is it." And if you
Mm.
feel excited doing something, fuck all else and do the thing, right?
Yes.
This little thing
Absolutely.
tells you not to do something, fuck all else. So it's I just my only piece of advice for women is stop the self-harm, right?
Mm.
The talking, the downplaying, the downgrading, the degrading, the talking negatively about yourself. That is a practice, and that practice can be overridden with new practice, and
Mm,
then things can flow, right? You're too important. We're all too important to
yeah,
be hindering ourselves.
absolutely. Beautifully said. And I agree wholeheartedly. Thank you for that. Before we officially wrap, I'm going to do my quick little rapid fire this or that I always
Oh,
do at the end of
all right.
these conversations. So, morning person or night owl?
Ooh, morning person, 100%.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
I like both, but I I would fight somebody for some coffee.
Okay. Okay. Um, let's see. I'm doing these off the top of my head for you.
Mm.
Um, sprint, like sprint,
Mhm.
or jog?
I'll jog.
Okay. Um, planks or squats?
Planks.
Really?
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay. All right. We're going to end on that one. Why planks? Because I'm curious to know why a plank over a squat.
Okay, well, you're a trained trainer.
Hmm.
So my femurs are very long. So getting a full squat is, I mean, you have to do squats. So they're
Hmm.
hard for me. But I
Understood.
love this idea of just holding up your own body weight for as long as you
Yes,
can.
I get
Then
that.
to me, that's a very full body exercise.
Yes. No,
I mean, so
listen.
are squats, but plank, I like the idea of just holding up my own weight.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Mm.
that. And I think that makes sense too. Wonderful. Danette, thank you so very much for
Thank you,
coming, sharing
Krista.
about your novel, sharing your wonderful wisdom that you always do. And please let us know in the comments what nuggets you took away from this conversation. Really would like to hear from you and build upon this conversation and this community around these ideas and around sharing your voice and being intentional and letting you know that what you have to say is utterly important, and whatever is tugging at you, that you will answer that call. Let us know. We want to hear from you. Once again, thank you so much for being here, for showing up, and I look forward to seeing you in the next Candid with Krista.